Have you ever found yourself playing for hours, completely immersed in a world full of action and challenges? If the answer is yes, you understand how difficult it is to find a game that truly captures your attention. In this list, we've gathered 20 combat-focused games that will keep you glued to the screen. Each one features an irresistible combination of thrilling fighting mechanics, captivating stories, and stunning visuals that promise not only to entertain, but also to challenge your skills. This is Jack speaking. And if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel, where I bring daily content so you don't miss a detail of the gaming universe. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd be really grateful. From one gamer to another. First up is Chivalry 2, a medieval combat game that takes battles to another level. With immersive graphics and intense gameplay, it places players in the midst of massive battlefields where swords, shields, and spears are the primary weapons. The dynamics of melee combat ensure that every strike counts. Surviving the chaos while arrows fly and enemies attack from all sides is a true challenge, creating a constant sense of urgency that pulls players deep into the game. What sets this title apart is its combat mechanics, where every movement must be calculated. It's not enough to mash buttons randomly. The secret lies in strategy and timing for both attack and defense. Everything is designed to simulate a real fight, from the physics of movements to the impact of each blow. This means you never know where the next attack might come from, increasing the tension with every passing second. Another highlight is the multiplayer mode, which offers various options from one-on-one duels to large-scale battles. The realistic graphics and sound turn every fight into a spectacle of medieval brutality, while precise controls allow players to feel the impact of each weapon. The game not only delivers intense combat, but also a level of immersion that few fighting games can achieve, ensuring hours of pure adrenaline. Next is Warhammer 40,000, a game that elevates action in the sci-fi universe to a brutal level. This title puts players in the shoes of an incredibly powerful warrior, armed to the teeth and ready to face hordes of alien foes on an unforgiving battlefield. With detailed visuals and intense combat, it blends frantic shooting with melee encounters, offering a captivating mix of mechanics that keeps players on their toes. One of the most engaging aspects is how combat flows between gunfights and physical attacks. Rather than limiting players to a single style, survival requires mastering both. The intensity of the fights and the size of the enemies truly make players feel the weight of each battle. It's the kind of game that makes you question your survival with every wave of foes, maintaining a fast pace and high adrenaline. The graphics and sound create an atmosphere that immerses players in this dark, futuristic world. The sense of power from controlling a walking war machine is one of the game's main attractions. It's not just about defeating enemies. It's about how epic and visually stunning each battle feels. This game hooks players from the first encounter and never loses its momentum. Continuing, we have Furi, a game that stands out for its fast and precise combat mechanics. This title pits players against intense boss battles, where each encounter is a true test of reflexes and strategy. With a striking visual style and an electronic soundtrack that perfectly matches the game's fast pace, it offers a unique gameplay experience. Each boss has their own attack patterns, requiring players to learn, adapt, and counterattack accurately. What really distinguishes this game is how it combines melee combat with shooting, forcing players to constantly move. The fights are fierce and quick, with difficulty ramping up with each new phase. There's no room for mistakes here. Every movement matters, and mastering timing is crucial for victory. This makes the battles not only challenging, but also extremely rewarding, as defeating a boss after multiple attempts brings a unique sense of relief. The neon visual style and pulsating soundtrack are also standout features. The music perfectly adjusts to the action, creating an intense and immersive environment. It's one of those games that grips you, where adrenaline rushes with each duel, and victory comes with sweat and dedication. Anyone who enjoys frenetic challenges will certainly feel at home here. Next up is Sifu, a game that emphasizes martial arts combat, featuring a unique aging mechanic that directly impacts gameplay. Players embark on a journey of revenge, facing enemies with meticulously choreographed fighting techniques. The fluidity of movements and the realism of the fights make every strike felt, providing a visceral and engaging combat dynamic, where the player's skill is constantly put to the test. The aging system is one of the game's key differentiators. Each time the player is defeated, the character ages, affecting both appearance and combat abilities. Over time, they become stronger, but also more vulnerable. This mechanic creates a constant tension in battles, as players must balance aggression with caution. The game rewards learning and strategy, turning each fight into a personal challenge of overcoming obstacles. The game impresses with its stylized artistic style, which perfectly complements the tone of its fights. The atmosphere is always charged with tension, and the soundtrack keeps pace with the action, making combat even more thrilling. This isn't just another fighting game. It's a true work of art that demands mastery and patience, keeping players engaged in their quest for vengeance. Fifth on the list is Control, a game that blends intense action with supernatural elements, creating a unique atmosphere of mystery and tension. Players take on the role of someone with telekinetic powers, capable of manipulating the environment while facing enigmatic foes. Set in an isolated government building filled with hidden secrets, the combination of fast-paced action and exploration of strange environments makes this game incredibly engaging. The gameplay stands out through how telekinetic powers are utilized. It's not just about shooting or attacking. It's about using the environment to your advantage. Objects fly across the room, walls are destroyed, and enemies are thrown into the air in ways that make each encounter unpredictable. The sensation of controlling these powers so fluidly and precisely is one of the features that make the fights so memorable and exhilarating. In addition to combat, the intriguing narrative full of twists keeps players curious at every turn. The supernatural atmosphere, enhanced by high-quality graphics and immersive sound design, creates constant tension. This is one of those games that leaves you feeling like you've lived a unique story, where every detail contributes to full immersion in the mystery of the environment. Next, we have the Batman Arkham series, which revolutionized superhero games with its fluid gameplay and extremely satisfying combat. Placing players in control of one of the most iconic heroes, the game offers an authentic sense of being the Dark Knight, featuring melee combat skills, stealth, and a vast array of gadgets. The dark setting and engaging narrative complement the action, creating complete immersion in the world of Gotham. The standout feature of the series is the free-flow combat system, which allows players to chain together strikes, counters, and acrobatics in a continuous and spectacular sequence. With each confrontation, players feel completely in control of the hero's abilities, dealing with multiple enemies at once in a fluid and responsive manner. This mechanic is easy to understand, but requires mastery to fully dominate, making each fight engaging and rewarding. The open-world design is breathtaking, offering a Gotham filled with secrets and side missions that deepen the gameplay experience. The dark, realistic visuals combined with top-notch sound design create a heavy, tense atmosphere, perfect for the vigilante's adventures. This game series has undoubtedly redefined the action and superhero genre, becoming a reference even today. In seventh place, we have Sunset Overdrive, a vibrant and energetic game that brings an explosion of color and action. Here, players find themselves in a city overrun by mutants where chaos reigns. But what sets this game apart is its irreverent and exaggerated tone. With a mix of parkour, creative weapons, and a frenetic pace, the gameplay is entirely focused on fun. Players can leap from buildings, run along walls, and use a variety of wacky weapons to take down enemies in explosive fashion. The movement through the environment is one of the most innovative aspects of this title. Instead of simply running or walking, players must use their surroundings to their advantage, sliding on rails, jumping across rooftops, and performing acrobatics while fighting. This brings a sense of speed and freedom that is rare in action games. The weapons, on the other hand, are a spectacle in themselves, with options ranging from a vinyl record launcher to absurd explosives, all designed to enhance the fun during combat. The cartoonish visuals and irreverent tone also help distinguish this game from others. The saturated colors and caricatured characters reinforce the unique style of Sunset Overdrive, creating an environment that is both chaotic and enjoyable. The result is a game where the action never stops, and players always have something new to discover or another way to cause destruction, ensuring hours of entertainment. In 8th place, we have Doom Eternal, a game that takes frenetic combat to an almost superhuman level. With relentless action, players take control of a powerful warrior facing hordes of demons armed with a vast array of brutal weapons. Every second, the pace of battle forces you to remain in constant motion, alternating between precise shots, impressive jumps, and devastating melee attacks. It's pure adrenaline from start to finish, with no time to breathe. What makes this game stand out are the highly dynamic combat mechanics and the need to make quick decisions amid the chaos. It's not enough to just shoot. You need to use the environment to your advantage, eliminate enemies to recover ammo and health, and execute epic finishing moves in style. The combination of powerful weapons and agile movements creates a synergy that few shooters can achieve, turning each battle into a true showcase of skill. The environments also deserve recognition, with settings ranging from hellish landscapes to futuristic structures, all accompanied by a heavy soundtrack that amplifies the intensity of combat. Visually stunning, with graphics that impress with their richness of detail, the game places you at the center of a war that seems endless, and you'll want to keep playing, always seeking to push your limits. In 9th place, we have Assassin's Creed III, a game that transports players to the era of the American Revolution, offering a blend of fluid combat and open-world exploration. The series has always been known for its parkour sequences, and this game is no exception. Players can climb buildings, traverse forests, and face enemies using a variety of weapons, from swords to pistols, all while engaging in a plot filled with historical conspiracies. The combat mechanics remain one of the game's strongest points. Confrontations are quick and strategic, requiring players to use a mix of attacks and counters to take down multiple opponents. Ranged weapons and stealth abilities add an extra layer of depth to the gameplay, allowing for different approaches to each situation. This flexibility ensures that every battle is engaging and varies depending on the player's style. The graphics are also impressive, featuring a detailed recreation of historical settings, from colonial towns to the vast wilderness of North America. The immersion is enhanced by a narrative that blends real events with fiction, creating a rich experience for those who enjoy games that explore history creatively. As a result, this game manages to maintain tension and player interest for hours on end. In 10th place, we have Remnant 2, a game that combines intense shooting with RPG elements and a good dose of strategic combat. With procedurally generated environments, players never face the same adventure twice, making exploration unpredictable and thrilling. Combat is challenging and rewards those who adapt their tactics according to the enemy and environment. Both ranged and melee weapons deliver a brutal impact, offering a wide variety of playstyles to keep things interesting. The big draw of this game lies in the blend of frantic shooting and survival mechanics, where players must make quick decisions to defeat relentless foes. There's also a focus on teamwork, as playing in cooperative mode allows you and your friends to combine skills and gear in unique ways. Every battle requires planning, and simply surviving brings a sense of victory. There's no simple formula for success, making each achievement extremely satisfying. The game impresses with its varied environments and detailed creatures that challenge players in different ways. The tense atmosphere and immersive graphics create a world that feels alive and hostile with every step. It's a game that truly tests the player's patience and skill, ensuring constant challenges for those who seek to improve continuously. In 11th place, we have God of War Ragnarok, a game that dives deep into Norse mythology, offering epic combat and a captivating narrative. Players find themselves in a world filled with mythical creatures and powerful gods, where battles are always intense, featuring a blend of brutal attacks and breathtaking cinematic sequences. The story is engaging and full of twists, creating an emotional connection to the game's events in a natural and fluid manner. Combat is where this game truly shines. Each available weapon carries significant weight, and every strike is felt with precision. The combination of melee attacks and magic brings a perfect balance between strategy and action. The artificial intelligence of the enemies ensures constant challenges, making the use of the environment and mastery of abilities essential for survival. This transforms each confrontation into a spectacle of strategy and brutality, rewarding the more attentive players. The visuals are stunning, with incredibly detailed graphics that bring the mythological world to life. Immersion is enhanced by the epic soundtrack and precise sound design, which accompany every movement and battle. The feeling of facing gods and colossal creatures in vast and beautiful settings makes this one of the most remarkable games of its generation, creating memorable moments with each new mission. In 12th place, I can't overlook the classic games of God of War, which are a true masterclass in blending frenetic action with mythology. These games laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most iconic series in video game history. Players take on the role of a warrior fueled by revenge, battling gods and monsters in epic confrontations. With fast-paced and brutal gameplay, the combat flows spectacularly, offering devastating strikes and deadly combos that made the series known for its visceral action. The combat system is straightforward and dynamic, allowing players to switch between various weapons and magic while facing hordes of enemies. The feeling of power when delivering devastating attacks to gigantic creatures is unparalleled, and every battle is a spectacle of choreographed violence. The progression of skills and unlocking new moves throughout the journey keeps players engaged and always ready for new challenges, providing a constant sense of evolution. The artistic design of the classic games also stands out, with impressive mythological settings that transport players to legendary places, from the underworld to the peaks of Olympus. The epic soundtrack and immersive sound effects complete the grandeur of the atmosphere. These games left a definitive mark on the world of video games, proving that intense action and engaging narratives can brilliantly coexist. In 13th place, we have Metal Gear Rising, a game that combines fast-paced action with a narrative full of intrigue and technology. The focus here is on incredibly fast and precise sword combat, with gameplay that puts players in complete control of their movements. Each strike is a choreography in itself, where timing is essential for defeating powerful foes. The futuristic visuals complement the experience, creating a high-tech environment where battles unfold intensely. The combat system is undoubtedly the highlight. The ability to cut through anything in the environment, from enemies to objects, adds an extra layer of strategy to the fights. It's not just about attacking, but choosing the right moment to deliver critical hits and avoid opponents' counterattacks. Players feel in complete control of the action, with the fluidity of movements creating a sense of mastery with every battle. The graphics and electronic soundtrack heighten the immersion in the game's universe. The futuristic visual style, combined with the unique design of enemies and environments, creates an electrifying atmosphere. With memorable battles and a frenetic pace, Metal Gear Rising stands out among action games as a unique and highly rewarding experience for those who enjoy fast combat and sharp techniques. In 14th place, we have Sekiro, a game that redefines combat in action games by mixing patience and precision with high difficulty. Here, every strike matters, and the blocking and counterattacking system requires quick reflexes and mastery of technique. Instead of just attacking frantically, players need to read enemy movements and respond at the right moment. This creates constant tension during fights, where one mistake can be costly, but victory brings immense satisfaction. The unique mechanic lies in the posture system, which forces players to focus on destabilizing the enemy before they can finish them off. Strategy seamlessly blends with physical combat, making each fight feel like a dance, where both enemies and players are always on the verge of collapse. The feeling of overcoming a battle after several attempts is unparalleled, and the level of challenge ensures that every small victory is rewarding. The game is breathtaking, with settings inspired by feudal Japan that stand out for their beauty as well as the dangers they conceal. The soundtrack and sound design complement the environment, creating an atmosphere that keeps players immersed throughout the journey. Sekiro is one of those games that demand dedication, but reward players with one of the most intense and memorable experiences imaginable. In 15th place, we have Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, a game that transports players directly into the world of the Lord of the Rings, featuring a combat system that blends agility and brutality. The gameplay allows players to face hordes of enemies fluidly, combining quick strikes with powerful executions. One of the standout features is the Nemesis system, which makes enemies evolve, becoming stronger and remembering past battles, adding a unique and personalized touch to each playthrough. The combat mechanics resemble those of other great action games, focusing on precise counters and devastating combos. The sensation of facing multiple foes at once, alternating between direct attacks and special abilities, brings a constant dynamic to the battles. The flexibility in combat, allowing players to choose a stealthy approach or go straight for confrontation, adds an extra layer of strategy to the game. The dark settings of Middle-earth are impressively recreated, with detailed graphics that bring to life the world of orcs and other mythical beings. The narrative unfolds captivatingly, connecting players to the events of the Lord of the Rings universe. With solid combat, an innovative system, and a richly detailed world, Shadow of Mordor delivers an engaging and epic gameplay experience for action and fantasy fans. In 16th place, we have Monster Hunter, a game that places players in a vast world filled with gigantic and challenging creatures. The main objective is to hunt these monsters in intense battles that require strategy, patience, and a good mastery of weapons. The combat system is deep, allowing players to choose from various weapon classes, each with its unique style, which can completely change the approach to each fight. The hunts are unpredictable, with monsters reacting to the environment and displaying varied behaviors. The significant difference here lies in the interaction with the environment. Each area of the map is alive and can be used to your advantage during fights. Rocks can be toppled to cause massive damage, and other monsters can even join the battle, creating unpredictable moments. The customization and evolution of equipment are other key points, as players must improve their weapons and armor with resources obtained during hunts to face even more powerful creatures. The game is impressive, with richly detailed environments and incredibly designed creatures, each with a unique design. The feeling of hunting a giant beast and successfully defeating it after a long battle is incredibly rewarding. And this cycle of hunting, evolving, and facing new challenges keeps players engaged for hours. This is one of those games that truly test your skills and offer a constant sense of progression. In 17th place, we have Mad Max, a game that perfectly captures the chaos and brutality of the post-apocalyptic world depicted in the films. Players find themselves in a vast and unforgiving desert, where modified vehicles are both a weapon and a necessity for survival. The game's action is divided between frenetic combat inside and outside vehicles, where explosions and close-quarters confrontations are constant. With the ability to customize your vehicle, battles on the road become the highlight of the game. The combat system is brutal and direct. While it bears similarities to the combat in Batman, it deserves recognition. Outside of the car, players face enemies with devastating strikes and improvised weapons, using the environment to eliminate threats. Inside the vehicles, the fights gain a new dimension, with high-speed chases and intense shootouts, where every move can be the difference between living or exploding amid chaos. The car customization mechanics add another layer of strategy, allowing players to create true war machines. The graphics are impressive in recreating the dystopian desert, with sandstorms and desolate environments that look straight out of a movie. The atmosphere is oppressive, reinforcing the feeling of being in a world dominated by violence and scarcity of resources. This game delivers the adrenaline and despair typical of a post-apocalyptic world, with intense combat and a constant sense of danger. In 18th place, we have For Honor, a melee combat game that places legendary warriors, such as knights, samurais, and Vikings, in epic battles. The game stands out for its tactical gameplay, where every strike must be carefully calculated and defense is as important as attack. With a combat mechanic focused on timing and positioning, each duel is a true test of skill, where the player's strategy can define the outcome of a fight. The combat is unique due to its guard control approach, where players need to choose the correct direction to attack and defend. This creates a more immersive and strategic fighting gameplay, where simply mashing buttons is insufficient. The pace of battles is intense, and the variety of characters, each with different fighting styles, ensures that players are always learning and adapting to new opponents. This depth is what keeps the game dynamic and challenging. The graphics are equally impressive, with detailed settings ranging from medieval castles to lush forests. The historical ambience, combined with the realistic sounds of clashing swords and battle cries, creates a complete immersion in the battlefield. This game delivers intense combat gameplay, where each fight is a true duel of skills and strategies. In 19th place, we have Ghost of Tsushima, a game that combines precise combat with a deeply engaging story set in feudal Japan. The gameplay focuses on sword battles, where players must master timing and technique to defeat opponents efficiently. The fluidity of movements and variety of combat stances allow players to adapt to different fighting styles, creating a rich and challenging combat experience. The setting of feudal Japan is beautifully portrayed with vast landscapes, from fields of flowers to snow-covered mountains. Each duel with enemies is meticulously detailed, and the animations flow seamlessly, making each strike a visually impressive delight. The choice between confronting enemies head-on or using stealth tactics also gives players the freedom to personalize their combat style. Beyond combat, the game captivates with its artistic design, offering a vibrant color palette and a soundtrack that perfectly complements the atmosphere of each setting. The feeling of being transported to 13th century Japan, with the tension and beauty of each battle, is what makes this one of the most immersive and visually stunning games ever created. Next up is Prince of Persia, with impressive graphics and fluid combat mechanics. The game enables the protagonist to move with agility through elaborate settings filled with traps and enemies. The gameplay is where the game truly shines, with a combat system that combines fast action and strategy. Players can utilize a variety of skills to deliver attacks and dodge enemies, making each battle feel like a choreographed dance. The platforming challenges, typical of the series, are also present, requiring quick reflexes and agile thinking to overcome obstacles. The plot intertwines with elements of mythology and mystery, creating a rich narrative that draws players in. This game is not only a return to the series' roots, but also an evolution that surprises both old fans and newcomers. Now, tell me, how many of these games have you played, and which combat experiences in gaming did you enjoy the most? If you think another game should have made this list but didn't, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any news from the gaming universe and never be unsure about what to play. I'm leaving another list with games worth every penny in the card. Just click to watch. A big hug, and see you tomorrow.